From a small indie company's first FPS to a powerhouse across multiple platforms, metas and weapons have changed drastically with Valorant over the last 4 years. And with the most recent patch, 9.10, one of the wildest changes to Valorant was introduced, the Regenerating Shields. This shield changes everything about how the game will be played with its unique stats, interactions, and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video as I explain exactly what this shield does, why it matters, and how I recommend you to use the newest tool in Valorant's arsenal. And real quick, if you need more hands-on help to implement these tips, my team of Radiant and VCT coaches can help you rank up 500 RR in just 10 weeks, guaranteed, or we'll coach you for free until you do inside the Immortal roadmap program. You'll be getting over 100 hours of personalized coaching with hands-on drills, scrims, and one-on-ones to make sure you learn everything you need to hit Immortal Plus. So if you're serious about putting in the work with world-class coaches, click the link in the description below to book a free call with a coach to see if we'd be a good fit. Hurry, because there are 27 out of 80 spots left for the next season. Now, back to the video. Since the game launched back in 2020, a lot has changed. There's been rebalancing, completely new agents, and even some new guns. One thing never changed though, shields. However, patch 9.10 has come along to change that, introducing both regenerating shields as well as drastic changes to the game and its meta. Let's break it down. Simply put, regenerating shields are the newest shield type put into the game, and they come with some unique stats. It has the same standard 25 shields as a light shield. However, it doesn't let any damage pass before the shield breaks. What does that exactly mean? With irregular light and heavy shields, damage hurts both your shield and HP pool, since the damage negated by shields is just 66%. Now, that might sound bad, but it really isn't. This mechanic is what allows you to get healed back up to 124 health after getting hit by a single Vandal bullet, for example. However, the regenerating shield negates 100% of damage before it affects your standard HP. And there's a good reason for this difference. On top of this feature, regen shields have 50 reserve hit points. That means if you take 25 points of damage, hit cover, and then wait a few seconds, your armor regenerates to 25 again. That can happen twice in one round, and any remaining HP can also carry over to the next round if you survive. So the benefit of the regen isn't felt just in a single round. It can be maintained round to round. And the crazy part, it only costs 650 credits to buy. That means you can technically buy 75 armor on the pistol round, which we'll get into shortly. However, part of the reason why this update is so significant is that the new shield also affected the weapon balance in the game. Sure, the run and gun meta is being shaken up with weapons outside of the SMG class due to the recent accuracy changes. However, the most significant change to the weapon sandbox comes with the Phantom being buffed. Because regen shields were introduced, having your primary rifle do 124 damage at max distances would feel terrible to play against. Just imagine dinging an enemy for 124, them running back to their stage to get healed back up to 125 HP, and then losing the fight while dinging an enemy for the second time in the same round. So to balance this, the Phantom now does 140 damage at long range, while also having the one-shot headshot range increased by 5 meters. This means light and regen shields are weaker against the new Phantom at all ranges. But that's not the only gun you need to watch out for a while using these shiny new shields. That's because there are some scary interactions that you ought to be aware of. The Outlaw is the newest weapon in Valorant's arsenal, with its biggest strength being how much damage it does to anyone not wearing heavy armor. That of course includes regen armor. So if you're force buying too often and your opponents notice this, it doesn't matter if your shields regenerate in the round. The Outlaw takes you out entirely before you have a say. The same is true if the enemy team is force buying too often. Punishing them with the Outlaw is probably your best option to get maximum value against the regen shields. Another gun that's a pretty bad interaction for these regenerating shields is the Guardian. It does 65 damage a shot, meaning that light or regen shields put you into 2 body shot territory. Even the Bulldog is a little bit dicey, as a single headshot and body shot will deal a combined total damage of 150, which can happen quite quickly when you consider its 3-round burst. Let me be clear though, the regen shield isn't always bad news. If you're going up against a Vandal and get hit 2 or 3 times, you'd much rather have a regen shield, especially if you or your teammates have some healing abilities. You can get hit for 120 in 3 Vandal shots, be left on 5 HP, and get healed by your Sage or Sky, as well as your regen armor, and boom, you're back to what's essentially full HP. So now you might be wondering, how should you be looking to use these shields and when should you buy them? Simply put, it depends on the context, but especially in the early stages of a half, regen shields have a good place in the meta. Pistol rounds are where regen shields truly shine, offering significant value due to the low damage nature of pistols, with the one exception of the sheriff. This gives you a better chance to survive and benefit from the regen. Pistols doing less damage means that the extra HP can often be the difference between winning or losing an early engagement, similar to how Reyna becomes much harder to deal with when healing to 150 HP after a kill. Maybe you don't want to buy these regen shields on pistol rounds on any agent though. The best use of regen shields is on duelists, especially when combined with team or self heals and an upgraded pistol provided by a teammate. This turns them into a force to be reckoned with, a real raid boss if you will. Controllers and initiators on the other hand should probably avoid buying it since they need to prioritize smokes and utility to support their team. The economic impact of regen shields also makes them a game changer. If you finish the pistol round with at least 25 armor remaining, you can carry them into the second round, saving the 400 credits typically spent on rebuying light armor in round 2. This allows for earlier investments in abilities, rifles, or other critical items, potentially saving up a lot of credits across multiple rounds. While it's true that this strategy relies on survival to reach its full value, I think it's well worth it when you consider the economic impact in the long run. It's almost like you're pre-ordering armor for rounds 2 and 3 by just spending an extra 250 credits on it in round 1. Actually, it's probably better than that, considering that in any of these 3 rounds, these shields also have the potential to save your life, allowing you to keep an extra gun or maybe even allow you to win the round. Considering these factors, I think we can all agree that the regen shields are a great way to make a pretty scary raid boss. In fact, it's even a raid boss who can help boost your team's economy in the long run. Outside of the pistol round though, where else might you want to buy these shields? Well, let's say you want a 4-spot. Normally, that might look like buying light armor with an upgraded weapon and some utility to boot. You can have something as cheap as a sheriff or as expensive as a rifle. Something unique that can really affect the outcome of these rounds is the ultimate economy. If you have a lot of high impact ultimates like early jet knives or killjoy lockdown, you might want to consider regen shields. That's because if you're able to win the round and survive after using these ultimates, you don't have to rebuy shields. That alone can stack you up to buy better weapons and snowball your economy. Even if you lose, it only costs you 250 additional credits for that extra survivability, so why not take the risk for the cost? On the topic of risk versus cost, remember earlier in the VCT meta when Fnatic started buying light shields every full buy to snowball their economy? Imagine, instead, a team that only buys regen shields. The more rounds they survive, the more rounds they can build an economy, and the more rounds they can buy Vandals and Phantoms. The effects of regen shields can be far-reaching, but is this strat as viable as it used to be? Well, maybe not. In contrast to the first 3 rounds in the match, regen shields are definitely a bit more niche later on. Generally speaking, I wouldn't really recommend buying regen shields in both full buys and half buys. The reason for that is that most of the time, your priority is to buy a good weapon first, after which you want to get heavy armor to negate the phantom headshot, outlaw one-shots, and other funny interactions we talked about. Meanwhile, if we assume you don't have money for full shields, light shields are usually a better call since they'll allow you to buy extra abilities. Only if you're in the rare situation where you have everything you want but are just a few credits short of buying full shields does it really make sense to invest the extra credits to upgrade to regen shields. There's maybe an argument you could make for regen shields if you have a comp with a lot of heals, like one that has both a Sage and a Skye, and your enemies are all playing Vandals. For that situation, regen shields are almost straight up better for cheaper, considering you can tank some bullets and continually get back to a number of hit points where you can tank 3 Vandal shots. However, I think you can see that those are very specific conditions that all need to be met and often aren't. Finally, buying regen shields on ecos is a little shaky since often you do not want to buy anything to be able to afford a full buy into the next round. If you're buying regen shields at the cost of you having to play a Spectre in your full buy, you're definitely doing something wrong. That's all you need to know for now. Thanks for watching.